Wow, the beginning of this week, my gorgeous Virgo, it's all about the actual happiness and it's all about a new beginning, the actual brand new beginning at the moment in time when you least expect this. My gorgeous Virgolini, when this is going to happen and how this is going to happen and when this is exactly going to happen is at the moment in time, at the beginning of this week when you realize that you're not holding on to something, so much anymore. You're not holding on too tightly to something. And that means that there was a specific situation that you had within the last 3 years. Something happened to you. There was a very much so a negative experience that you went through. And this negative experience was the direct result about you becoming a little bit scared and a little bit paranoid about something, and that in itself put you in this mode when you're holding like pretty much so too tightly on something. And when we are holding on too tightly on something, my gorgeous Virgolini, or when we are kind of thinking too intensely about wanting something to happen, you see what I mean? When we are thinking too intensely about something, it is not good whatsoever, because at the same time we are creating this barrier, this invisible barrier, which is slowing us down, which is preventing us to be where we need to be until we get to this powerful understanding of this specific situation. So there is something else that you've learned and you realized along the way, and that in itself is going to be absolutely evident at the beginning of this week. So something happened in your past and it affected you, it scared you so much within the last 3 years that this was the direct result of you holding on too tightly to something. So this is when you're gonna realize, my gorgeous Virgolini, that something is changing right at the beginning of this week. And this is all about the happiness and the new beginning. You see, this is how I started this weekly reading for you, because at the beginning of this week it's also marking the point where you are about to be happy again. I'm not saying that you were miserable and sad, but I'm just saying that you're gonna realize the extent, how much was this affecting you. And all this is actually going to happen at around the time when you least expect this. Of course, when you least expect it, because you are right at the beginning of this week, you are going to have a certain news and certain message, and you are pretty much so gonna be on your way to do something. And on your way to do something, when it comes to that important news and message that you are going to have, something is going to happen to you, something really unusual and strange and bizarre. It's going to happen to you. So it's all gonna happen at the moment in time when you have this strange and unusual situation unfolding in your life. This is also going to be the moment in time where you are gonna become aware of, like, oh my God, suddenly you need to do something. That unusual, strange and bizarre experience that you are going to have, it's all going to boil down to one particular moment. You being so inspired by something to the point where you're not going to be able to stop thinking about it whatsoever. You're going to be inspired so much, but that in itself is going to make you aware of the fact that you are ready for something big, that you are ready for something new. But at the same time, it's also going to make you aware of the fact that you need to explore something. You need to find out a bit more about something. You need to educate yourself about something. It's all about the knowledge, and you diving in, my gorgeous Virgolini, and you understanding the importance of you bringing this into your life, this new element, this new stage. But it's not going to happen without you exploring and learning about something. And now, this is when things are going to start becoming really magical. And this is when you're going to realize that you're not like holding on really tightly to something. And this is going to create this absolutely mind-blowing moment in your life. You will see, you will clearly understand how much you changed. And you will also be reminded of what happened to you within the last 3 years in order to put you in this situation. So at the same time, you're coming out of something dark and negative, but but at the same time you're setting yourself free. You're setting your spirit free, and you're setting your heart free as well. So this is what it's all going to contribute towards you realizing, oh my God, I'm not being so stubborn about this. I'm not being so stubborn about that. I'm not holding on so tightly to this anymore. This is brilliant. It makes me feel so much better. It makes me feel brilliant. And this in itself, it's like, oh my God, seriously, in exactly like 5 months, my gorgeous Virgolini, you are really going to have such a powerful, really amazing reason to have a party, to celebrate, to have the biggest party of your life, to have one of the biggest celebrations of your life. Why? Because you're gonna achieve something absolutely enormous here. So this like kind of like what you're gonna, and it's all gonna start with you wanting to explore something, with you wanting to learn something, with you wanting to bring something into your life. That's how you're gonna feel. You're gonna feel so adamant and so ready and so like keen and eager to start something. This is brilliant. Please don't get me wrong. This can be a brand new thing, brand new stage, like slowly but surely sliding into your life, like everything literally new, like the whole new page. But at the same time, it really depends where you are at your spiritual journey, because at the same time, it's like you could be like doing something, you could be completely happy with yourself, and everything is absolutely perfect in your life when it comes to your life, when it comes to your private life, when it comes to things that you're working on. But you will see that a new element is coming that is going to be almost impossible for you to ignore. You're going to become so passionate about bringing something into your life, but there is going to be an important learning experience that you're going to have to dive in. So there are going to be so many elements of the unknown, but your soul and your spirits are going to be, hello my darling, don't ignore me, just follow me. And that's exactly what you need to do, my gorgeous Virgolini, because this is going to lead towards you like looking at a bigger picture. It's going to reflect on your happiness, on your optimism, on your home, on your immediate environment, on your lifestyle, like a lot. This is going to reflect on your lifestyle, because you're going to be so much happier. And the reason for this is only because you went through something so difficult within the last 3 years. Indeed, you went through something so difficult that was holding you down and made you feel scared and paranoid when it comes to like making the certain moves and steps in our lives, which are meant to be big, which is absolutely normal. So this is quite a really good sign that you are moving on with your life, and it's going to bring you to the destination where you are going to feel so much happier with yourself, so much happier when it comes to like so many other aspects of your life. This is not necessarily just about like business and this and that. This is like about turning the new page and knowing exactly what do you need to do at this stage in your life. By the time you get to the mid part of this week, my gorgeous Virgolini, you know what? This week is so powerful. It's like, oh my God, it's so powerful, because I'm telling you, you've been through so much within the last 3 years. There's so much darkness and negativity that brought way too uncertainty, and that uncertainty just makes you to close your eyes at the time when they should be fully open. And this in itself, it's only kind of like really to do with the timing, and to go through specific things in our lives in order to understand, in order to see, in order to become aware of, in order to have this clarity. So this is all going to lead towards your life purpose at around the midweek. Oh my goodness, listen to me very carefully. You are going to have this conversation with someone at around the midweek, and through that conversation you are going to realize some kind of like what you're going to realize some kind of potential, something that, like this life purpose. It's to do with the life purpose, but it's going to happen when you're talking to somebody, an important conversation, and you're talking about something completely different, and that person is talking about something else. That person is talking about something they did. That person mentions something, and you explode in the best possible way. You explode, because that in itself, it's going to like trigger something within you, trigger something. Do you know why? Because it has got elements of your life purpose, my gorgeous Virgolini, and that in itself is pretty much so going to give you this realization, this potential. You're going to realize this huge potential through that person. It's like, oh my God, big mama potential, like, oh my God, like huge mama potential. You're going to realize this huge potential through this person, my gorgeous Virgolini. This is so important. But then at the same time, you will know that you're not going to be able to do this unless you fully accept that something is not happening in your life, something that you've been working on for so long. You just need to cut something out. You need to move on from something, because otherwise this is not going to work. With other words, you are clearly going to realize the sacrifice that you are going to need to make. And now this is like, oh my God, this is the sacrifice that you're going to feel a bit like about, like you don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Because it's something that you've been kind of like really working on for such a long time, and you find this difficult to part with this. You're going to find this difficult to move on from this, and this is naturally kind of going to put you in a bit of like an indecisive situation. You're going to feel a little bit indecisive, to start with, but then very soon there is going to be quite like a very important sign that you are going to have, and this important sign that you are going to have is just going to be screaming to you literally that this is something that you should kind of move on and cut out of your life, because the sign that you are going to have, it's going to be like a negative and bad indication about what you were thinking about, like what you need to move on, what has come to an end, and something that it's preventing you from having like a really huge, enormous spiritual awakening at this moment in time. It is not going to happen until you realize what exactly do you need to move away from. This is something that you need to accept, like it's not going to happen, but it doesn't really matter. We live and learn. Not necessarily every single thing in this life we take on, it's actually going to be successful. Can you imagine if it's like that? No, baby, no. There's so many other subtle reasons that we do things, through our subconscious mind in order to find out specific aspects about us, about how we feel about different things. But that wouldn't happen if we don't deal with things, in a way where things happen spontaneously, because we respond in a completely different way then. Do you know what I mean? So this is all gonna kind of be around you needing to accept something not working out here, which is gonna make you like, oh my god, indecisive. But then again, you will be absolutely, it will be clear to you that that you need to make a decision, and you are going to do this. You are going to realize to sacrifice something, and this in itself is going to make you feel so much happier. But then on one hand, you are going to become aware of the fact that you are going to need to prove yourself. You're going to need to prove your point, and it's also like almost as if there are going to be elements of the actual competition here, and elements of competition, but then again an element of you making a really bold and brave move as well about something that you feel so passionate about, but you cannot explain. This is a very sacred moment in time. This is a very divine moment in time when it comes to you, my gorgeous Virgolini, because this is a lot to do with your life purpose. This is a lot to do with your life purpose. So this is something that you must not ignore, and you have to make a room for it. You have to make a room for it. Let me just tell you, let me just remind you the importance of this. It's going to happen while you are having a quite significant conversation with somebody. This is when you're going to realize something that you feel such a mind-blowing connection to again. So it's a lot to do with your life purpose, and it's a lot to do with you following your passion and clearly understanding that you want more. You want more out of life at this stage, at this point in your spiritual journey indeed. By the time you get to the last part of this week, my gorgeous Virgolin, is somebody who is very close to you and important to you. It's going to need your protection. I know it sounds mental, but somebody who's so close to you, it's like going through something very difficult. Now you can tell me I'm really vague. Oh my God, vague. Somebody very close to you, whether this is your family member, whether this is your best friend, somebody who you are very extremely close to, needs your protection. That particular person is going through something very difficult, and if you don't help them, they're going to lose their mind. You basically are very close to that person, and you were already aware of the fact that that person has found themselves in a very dangerous and very unclear waters, surrounded by the people no baby no they shouldn't be surrounded by, and doing no baby no what they shouldn't be doing in the first place. So this has gone for way too long. I think you should know who this is, my gorgeous Virgolini, because this is a prominent person in your life. This person is going to need your protection. This person is almost under like some kind of attack when it comes to certain people in their lives, but also like when it comes to certain people in their lives, but also when it comes to like a spiritually, because that person has been doing something to themselves that they shouldn't be doing on one hand, but then on another hand, now you really need to that person needs your protection, and you will know who this is because you were already thinking about this person in your life. But then at the same time, things are getting pretty dangerous when it comes to that someone special in your life. So you are going to need to really come up with some kind of plan how you can actually help to this person. And the best way to help to this person at the moment is just talk to them, just be there, just call them, just get in touch, just spend time with them. And slowly but surely, there's so many things that are gonna come up that you're gonna find completely out of this world, completely mind-blowing what was happening in the world of that person. But for the love of God, you have to please step forward and help this wonderful person in your life. This is someone who is really beautiful, and somebody who is gorgeous in and out, and somebody who means to you so much as well. That person needs your protection, and all you need to do right now, just step forward and answer every phone call. I'm not saying you're not answering, but just talk and communicate as much as you can. Okay, important indeed. At around the end of this week, my gorgeous Virgolini, it's like the idea you are going to have. Hello, my darling. It's the idea you are going to have. You're going to work on something like something important. You're going to work on something important. You are really going to be important to say is that you're going to be like really kind of concentrating, and you're going to be kind of fully kind of in it. So you're going to be enjoying yourself, and this is important to mention because yet again you create this really powerful vibe and powerful vibration which opens you up, which makes you think about things you don't normally think about. It makes you realize what you don't normally realize. You just drift towards so many different dimensions, you see. So this is why you kind of get hold of things around you that normally you have to work a bit more in order to understand, in order to realize, through the prayers, through the meditations, through the grounding, recentering and things like that. So while you're working on, you're going to be working on something that means to you so much, something so important at around the end of the week. And then there is this idea that you are going to have, a really interesting idea that you are going to have. And this really interesting idea that you are going to have, it's at the same time going to it's going to awaken your spirit. It's going to awaken so much you've been thinking about over the last 4 months in particular, but it's also going to awaken this desire to change. But this in itself, again, my baby, you're going to have to work with it a little bit, because it's not going to happen unless you commit yourself to it. So this idea that you are going to have, it's going to awaken your spirit. This sudden idea that you're going to have completely out of the blue, it's going to really awaken your spirit, and it's also going to awaken your desire to change. But at the same time, it's not going to happen unless you fully commit yourself to it. Now you're going to become extremely determined here, like, oh my God, and you will know what am I talking about, because your spirit is going to arise. You're going to start becoming very kind of full of ideas and full of energy. Now suddenly it's going to reflect on your physicality. physicality, because in terms of like you being physical and things like that, you're gonna realize, oh my god, I've got so much energy, like where this is coming from, which food did I eat, and things like that. You're really gonna be thinking where this energy is coming from, but you're not gonna care too much about it because you're gonna love it. You're gonna enjoy this moment so much because you haven't felt this energy and vibration for so long. This is the reason for this, is because you've been prepared. You've been prepared for the challenge that it's coming, and the challenge that it's coming, it's like basically going to a really kind of, the reason why you're going to find this challenging, it's not only because of the need to be committed to something here, otherwise it's not going to work, but it's also there is going to be so much on your mind. You're going to be thinking about few different things. You're going to be kind of doing few different things, and a couple of news and informations that you're going to have, they're going to scare you a little bit. It's not going to be nothing major, but it's only going to kind of happen at a time when you're a little bit stressed, so it's going to be kind of enhanced, in that particular way, but so at the time you're going to be like working on a few different things, so things are going to seem like a bit more like worse than they are, but it's going to make kind of this situation more challenging for you, if you know what I mean. But this is something, this commitment, this idea that you are going to have, you will know exactly what this is, my gorgeous Virgolini, as I said, because it's going to make you so determined. It's going to make your spirit rising. You're going to start feeling really re-energized, and you're going to love it. And this idea, it's also at the same time, going to lead towards you absolutely doing the right thing. It's not only about the new beginning at the beginning of this week, life purpose at around the midweek, and the last part of this week, it's all about a commitment. No baby, no. It's also like when it comes to that life purpose at around the midweek, it's going to have absolutely a huge connection with what's happening when it comes to that particular idea you're going to have at around the end of the week. So life purpose in the middle, and then at around the end of the week, the idea that you're going to have, it's going to have a strong correlation with that life purpose. So it's all going to be absolutely connected. So you need to understand this. It's all about making important decisions and knowing what exactly do you need to be committed to. At the same time, somebody's going to try to put you off. Somebody's going to kind of be around you, somebody who means to you so much, somebody who you love, and that person loves you, but they're not going to understand what you are saying or what you're working on. But that doesn't matter. You have to stay true to yourself. It doesn't matter, like if these are prominent people in our lives, it doesn't mean that they have to understand every single thing and every single aspect of our lives, especially when it comes to very personal things that we are actually working on. The bottom line is, this is going to lead towards an absolutely huge success, both when it comes to your finances, financial situation. This is going to reward you financially, like, oh my god, but it's also going to reward you when it comes to you feeling so pleased about yourself by accomplishing one of the greatest things in your life. Okay, my gorgeous Virgolini, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you. Thank you ever so much for watching my videos. Sasha Bonasin, psychic medium. Love you. Bye.